Hi, welcome to Part of My Frenchie. This is me, 143. If you don't have a friend, you have a few now. We are back on the couch this week, continuing our October Halloween theme. This past week, we've had a few great dog treat episodes where we made pumpkin ginger and pumpkin peanut butter dog treats that were just absolutely fabulous. But this time we're back on the couch and we're going to be taking it down a notch. We've got our matching Halloween pajamas, which I just love this time of year, especially when they make matching Halloween pajamas for our dogs too. So Lola and Coco and Rosie have their matching pajamas on so that they can match me as well. And we are all in the Halloween spirit. I know that they also have them for Christmas, which we also do that, which you'll see too. But so yeah, we're back on the couch this week, and I kind of wanted to take it down a notch, and we're going to get back into our topics on pet loss again this week. I know that we want to. One of my main goals on this channel is to talk about pet loss and grief. Sometimes we step away from it a little bit to lighten the mood on this channel by doing our dog treats and other topics, but I do like to focus mainly or get the focus sometimes back on grief and loss, because it is a big thing for people, and it is something that is it's not spoken about, and or it's still kind of a taboo subject for people. A couple things were brought up this past week, which is kind of what triggered this episode, I suppose. We kind of, it's interesting how you can be in a specific spot or location and things come up. And no matter how long ago you've had your loss, it doesn't have to be something that was this week or last week. It could be something that was years ago. And, things pop up. And it's okay. It's okay to work through those feelings as they come, because no matter what, grief has no timeline. You can push it off for the moment, but guess what? It's going to come right back around until you deal with it, and that's fine. I kind of grew up in a generation where you just it's not like now where there's countless therapists and therapy is more accepted. Whereas I guess growing up, we didn't really talk about going to therapy or so I suppose when I lost my first dog and I had such a hard time with it, maybe that's why I was so lost with it, because I didn't think that there was any kind of outlet for help. I didn't think that there was any kind of resources where I could go, or other people that were going through the same thing that I was, which is then what, triggered me to, jump in and study and get certified and learn all about pet loss and grief, and then start the group so that I could help other people, and which then started me talking to people, all over the place. And it became something that I really, really loved. But the main thing is that, again, no matter what, however long the loss was, there's times that it's still going to come up, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with working through those feelings when they happen. This past week, I was gifted this really nice massage package thing, so to speak, and part of it was they give you a massage, and then you do this whole like soaking bath thing, and it's a detox. And one of the things that the masseuse had said was, when you go into the detox tub, make sure you cleanse everything that has been bothering you or weighing on you. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to be here for hours, and that's joking all aside, but it was interesting kind of sitting there and meditating a little bit, and some of the things that popped up. And I know I've mentioned this on this channel before. One of my losses with one of my dogs was extremely hard for me, and it's something that nobody in my family will ever understand. It's something that at times will haunt me. And it's something that I think that situation or situations like that are what prepare you for other situations in life. And how I'm kind of, to bring it around a little bit, there's times in your life when you have to make some of the hardest, most gut-wrenching decisions. And one of those being when you have to, say goodbye to your pet, or, do euthanasia. And whether they're old, whether they're sick, whether it's an emergency situation, it's never easy. It's never easy. Like I said, the one that really haunts me, that was so unexpected, and I think that that's probably why it just kind of triggers me sometimes whenever I'm out. But it also, times like those, again, prepare you for other things in life. And at work, I'm kind of known for the person that can have like the hard conversations with people. And I don't enjoy having hard conversations with people, but I do have honest conversations with people. And I do believe that no matter how difficult a conversation is, I believe people would appreciate like honesty. And, I would rather be honest and lovingly hurt someone, not hurt them, but like lovingly tell somebody something, and work through something with them, than not tell them or stray away from something. So, but I know that I would not probably be able to have conversations or build up to situations like that at work had I not been through some of these past situations, like the one that haunts me, where I had to make a decision just like that, and that did not feel good. I've toyed around with it for many years in my life, and regardless, there was no way out of it. Regardless, that was the end result, and I know that. And but it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. And regardless, no matter what, the words had to come out of my mouth, go forward. I was the one that had to take the pen and sign off. I was the one that had to sit there during the procedure. And to me, when you sit through something like that, not only with that pet, but with, three others that were, one was old and the other one was horribly sick. When you go through things like that and you say move forward, you sign the papers, you drive them there to their, basically final destination, and then you drive home alone. There's nothing in the world that can come out of your mouth that is a hard conversation anymore. Nothing at all. And whether that's a positive thing for people that you have to interact with, because you know that, again, you can deliver information and do it in a loving way and so forth, or but I mean, euthanasia, again, is never easy. It's never easy. And people, some people we toy with things in our mind, and um, vets and vet techs, and God bless our veterinarian staff, because they deal with us on a daily basis, and they may not know you, and they may not know your pet, and or they may know you, and they may know your pet. But I mean, to sit and go through this, almost daily or several times a week, um, that's hard on them too. If they're in that profession, that means that they love animals. And Rosie's gonna fall off the couch, so we're gonna move her there. But if they're in that profession, that means that they love animals. So, and there's our Lola. Come here, Lola. That means that they love animals. So when you love something so much, there's that the flip side of the coin, right? You know that when you have to make that tough decision, that you're doing it out of the love of your heart, and you know that that passing is going to be peaceful for that animal, and that they're going to be surrounded by their family and the ones that they love. So there's that aspect of it, but it doesn't make it hurt any less. I mean, it doesn't make it hurt any less, because again, if you do know that family and you do know that animal, there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of history there. So, I was looking through, every time that you lose a pet, they will give you a lock of their hair and their paw print and their cards. And I was going through that this past week, because I have all my urns on my mantle of my 5 that I lost. And I take them down every once in a while and clean them, and all that. And I was taking them down. I was opening all the cards and just kind of looking at the dates and all the the little fur samples and the paw prints, and and it's interesting, because these two were sitting there, as I'm like sitting there scrubbing urns and stuff, and they're just like looking at me, and I looked at them, and I'm like, oh, all the stories I could tell you about each one of these these wonderful dogs, and because they were wonderful. They were a piece of the family and a piece of life, and they're still part of our family. They're in our living room for every Christmas and every holiday, and they're never forgotten. But again, it's it's a reminder. It's a reminder that we don't have that. You don't always have a lot of time. The one I only had 5 years with, unfortunately. The other ones I had 12, 13, 14 years with. Sweepy I had 19 years with. I mean, that was a long time for a dog. And God love her. That was Sweepy was probably one of my best passings. To if I had to choose the best way for a dog to pass for me, that was probably one of the most peaceful, best ways for a passing of one of my dogs. And I had that real soft music on. I knew that she was towards the end. I had real soft, like that dog TV music on. I was sitting in my recliner. I had her wrapped up in a little blanket, and I just sat there and I rocked her. And the music was there. It was just her and I, and I know Lola was on the couch, but it was just her and I, and I just rocked her until she passed away. And to me, there's no better way to go. But even on the ones that I've had to say goodbye to through the vet, those weren't bad either. I mean, those weren't bad either in hindsight. Everything was very peaceful. There was never any kind of trauma. I've been very, very lucky with not having any kind of accident situations. I do know over the years that when I would have meetings we've had a variety of people that would come in, and they've had horrible accident situations, and they didn't get that final closure, or the closure that they had was a pretty traumatic one. So that took some time to get through, grief wise and counseling wise, and that's fine. And with that, a lot of times with that, you seek additional resources, like you seek validation from vets and other sources. To sometimes it's easier for a pet owner to hear it from a vet that, if God forbid a dog got hit by a car or something, that their pet didn't suffer. My Sammy, who passed actually here down where my studio area is, he passed of boxer cardiomyopathy, and that one hit me very hard. Again, he passed at home, but one of the things that brought me peace and closure was when a person actually walked me through the steps of the end of that cycle of that disease, and how when it does hit, there's no how the body actually functions with it. So that I knew that he basically went unconscious before he passed. So there was no pain involved in his passing. And there, to a pet owner or a dog mom or dog dad, there's nothing more precious in life than peace of mind. And to have that peace of mind that the creature on this earth that loved you with all of their heart, and the only thing that they could give you was unconditional love, left this earth in a non-painful way, it is priceless. It's priceless. So, that's why I love, and I enjoy talking to people about pet loss and grief. I enjoy talking with people and walking people through when they go through pet loss and grief, because there's so many times that people misunderstand their feelings. They misunderstand how different events occur, and to give people peace of mind that what they're going through is normal, that's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. We are these creatures are we wake up 24/7, 7 days a week. This is what we live for. We have to make sure they're fed and taken care of, and they're our whole world until from the time we get them until the time they leave this earth. So it's a family member. It's just like anything else. We take care of very, very well. So it's nice when you can know that nobody suffered. So, but I am on a new venture. I did find something that I'm going to try. I thought this was very interesting. I found this company that does this interesting process. Now they do normal, like I know people have probably seen it, like cremation remains and stuff, and like jewelry. They'll take cremation remains and put it in jewelry. But this one also does like dog fur. They do they do fabric and all sorts of things. So I tried it out. Now, normally those companies that do with like the cremation remains, like normally companies that do this with the jewelry and so forth, are extremely expensive. I mean, it's a great idea and it's beautiful and whatever, but they're extremely, extremely expensive. But this company that I found is very, very reasonable. So I dove in and I tried it out. I ordered a piece of jewelry, and I collected I'm doing the fur one. So I collected fur from all 5 of my dogs that I've lost, and I mixed them all together so that it'll all be in this. I ordered a ring, so it'll all be mixed into this ring that I got. Um, and I'm going to send that away now, and then it takes about, I think they said 6 weeks possibly to get it back. So I'm very interested to see how this process goes, and I'll of course share it on here as well. But I'm very, very curious because, like I said, these companies are great. They look great. I mean, I couldn't do the cremation remains because even when I was cleaning my little urns or whatever, all my little urns are sealed. So, and I'm going to be 100% transparent. I'm not going to sit there and open 5 urns and try to scoop out. I'm not. I'm just not doing that. So I saw the option with the fur, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. So I thought that was a better route for me. But like I said, some people have access to easier access to cremation remains, and it probably will work out better for somebody else. But like I said, we'll report on that once I get it back. I have to send off the fur to them today, and like I said, I'll report back once I get something back from them. But anyways, so bottom line is, life is never easy. And we're always constantly working through our feelings. Grief never stops, but it does get easier. That's the great thing. It does get easier. And I think that with it, you get more clarity. Because every time I think of when something comes up, I get just a little bit more clarity on some areas. And I also think that, again, every hard moment builds you up for something else, to be strong for something else. And I know all those moments are going to, build me up for, or strengthen me for the time that, eventually when, I lose these guys. Don't want to ever, don't want to think of that day, but reality is reality. But it'll strengthen me up for that. So that's there's always a positive. I always look for a positive in every negative. And to me, that's a positive. If you can take something negative or a indifferent situation and find the positive in it, then that's a win all the way around. But anyways, so we're going to start doing some live pet loss and grief shows. So probably looking at maybe Tuesday or Wednesday nights, I'm going to be putting it on either TikTok or YouTube Live, answering questions for pet loss and grief and talking about some stuff there. I'm going to be doing that this week, so I will put out some small announcements as well. So be looking for that. Please hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. We really appreciate you stopping by. Please tell all of your friends and family about us. If you don't have a friend, you have a few now. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.